This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
I see the darkness all around, trying to find my way out, trying to find my way out. My heart it wanders through the night, searching for the starlight, searching for the starlight. Will I find my way back home? Will I find my way back home? I'm moving through the shadows. I'm moving through the shadows. I'm following the light. I know I see tomorrow. I'm moving through the shadows.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, the hosting has never mattered who's doing it. What has always mattered is who the listeners are, and there is no doubt about that as we are talking and hanging out on this lovely, it's so lovely that it's a Tuesday. No doubt about that. Anyways, today is Tuesday, February the 20th of 2024, day 51 of the year, and only 315 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends with Radio Big, because they do some stuff, we do some stuff, and I guess it's all copacetic, if you want to put it in that particular fashion, in regards to what they do, I do, we do, it's the gelling of the vibe, it's the vibe of the gel, that kind of fun stuff. We do it all together. So let's talk real quick because it's been a quick 24, it feels like, since we got to be able to hang out and do our thingo. So let's talk about this right now. If you're here, let me tell you what tunnel of me you have just entered into. Right now, you are about to experience what we call the Rated R Safety Show. It is a show that talks about safety in the news and safety. There is a lot of focus on the news on the show, where we go through everything, everything that's going on in real time. We have some professional broadcasters that are waiting out there to tell us what the hell's going on. I tell you by the forms of different methods, where we are on Safety FM, the app. We are on Safety FM, the podcast. We are on Safety FM, the website. We are also on the other side, known as Radio Big. Radio Big, the website, and Radio Big, the app. So some different options there. We're also on Live 365. Can be found on some other things such as iHeartRadio and so on. So just for some verbiage, there's also some video components into it. If you go into the social media platforms, we go full bore on the first hour of the Rated R Safety Show. What do you mean first hour? Well, this is a 3-hour show really known as the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. But the first hour we focus on this. Why this? Well, many, many, many moons ago, I was told that the people wanted a variation of this show, and that's what we did. We did this variation of the show and got it all started and moving and grooving. So here's where we're at today, the variation of this. So there you go. What else could you ask for? Anyways, with that being said, why don't we start talking right away about what the hell was trending in the overnight? Because I think that's going to be important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
I guess before I say that, if you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com does help. Yeah, all you have to do is go to the callintheradio.com, and that will get you moving and grooving with all that stuff. Yeah, callinradio.com. Text messaging, audio messaging, and video messaging, depending on what sector you want to be into. So what's on tap for today? Well, let's talk about it. It kind of goes something like this. More details about the suspicious death of Russian dissident Alexei Navalny. Well, hold it. Navalny on the hit list. Also, Taylor Swift's reps and KC Pride while down under. And let's see. The big numbers for Jon Stewart's occasional return to The Daily Show. We'll talk about that in some details if you want to take a listen to some of that stuff. And so we'll get into all of the fun stuff that we're going to talk about because, listen, we have some time to hang out, and why not talk about everything that's going on? It gets kind of weird sometimes as we are talking. No doubt about that. So who do I have hanging out with me this morning that wants to talk to you? I have some Trey Thomas waiting to tell you about what the hell's going on with the world of the news. So why don't we get into that right now?
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio. I'm Trey Thomas. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley says she would pardon former President Trump if he's convicted.
I believe in the best interest of bringing the country together, I would pardon Donald Trump because I think it's important for the country to move on.
During a Fox News town hall Sunday in South Carolina, the former governor said it would be in the country's best interest for Trump to be pardoned so Americans can leave the negativity behind. The widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny says the Kremlin is hiding his body in an effort to cover up his murder. Matt Bodner has the latest on the allegations of an ongoing cover-up.
I think right now it's very safe to say a message is being sent in the way the Russian government is handling this. I mean, Alexei Navalny is already dead. This is sort of torturous, I would imagine, for the family.
The vocal critic of President Vladimir Putin died last week in a Russian prison, and his mother and lawyers have reportedly been denied access to his body. Congress is heading home for a 2-week recess as the clock is ticking to fund the government. Lawmakers are not expected back on Capitol Hill until February 28th, 2 days before the March 1st deadline to fund some government agencies. The remaining agencies must be funded by March 8th. The path forward remains unclear as the House has not made progress on any appropriations bill since November, and Speaker Johnson has promised not to pass another short-term funding bill. A new CDC report shows the effects of long COVID are lingering longer among people who live in certain states. It's most prevalent in West Virginia, Montana, and Alabama, where about 1 in 9 people surveyed reported experiencing the effects. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will hear this week whether the UK can deport him to the US to face espionage charges. The United States and India are discussing ways to strengthen their cooperation in the defence sector at a 2-day summit being held in Delhi. And farm unions in India have rejected a government proposal that offered them a floor price for some crops, saying they will start marching to New Delhi this week unless a better offer is made.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Nearly all of California is under flood watch as another atmospheric river rolls in off the coast. Liz Crute says the state is still saturated from the last powerful storm system that swept in off the Pacific.
Officials issuing evacuation warnings in parts of Southern California as another atmospheric river dumped up to an inch of rain an hour on the already soaked region.
The Weather Prediction Center has issued an excessive rain outlook for most of California through Tuesday, and the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch across the region through Wednesday morning. Capital One Financial is set to acquire Discover Financial Services in a massive deal. The acquisition is set for over $35 billion, all stock. Discover shareholders will get a little over one Capital One share for each Discover share, with the deal expected to close in late 2024. Capital One reportedly plans to keep the Discover brand. Will Byron took home the checkered flag in the Daytona 500 following a bizarre ending. The driver of the number 24 car earned his first career win at Daytona Beach after the white flag came out during a late crash. NASCAR officials determined Byron was leading the pack when the caution flag waved heading into the final lap. Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, Corey LaJoie, and Bubba Wallace rounded out the top 5 finishers. Barbie is the big winner of this year's People's Choice Awards. The fan-voted Pop Culture Awards were handed out Sunday night, and Barbie won for both Movie of the Year and Comedy of the Year, with lead actors Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling being named Female and Male Movie Stars of the Year. Taylor Swift won Pop Artist of the Year, Female Artist of the Year, and Concert Tour of the Year. You're listening to NBC News Radio.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing the dinner's on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free. That's HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free to use the code SafetyFM-free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SafetyFM-free with code SafetyFM-free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Safety trainers still preaching a warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as
mining,
blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Yeah, some self-implosion never has hurt anyone, I don't think. That's for sure. So anyways, how are you? How are things? How is it moving? How is it hanging? How are you? How is life right at this particular moment after coming off a news break there? A lot of stuff going on in this multiverse of ours, no doubt about it. So let's talk very, very slowly as we get into the shit list, because I think that this is going to be important. A human rights group monitoring the Russia says that President Vladimir Putin orchestrated the death of Alexei Navalny down to the second. Putin rose in the ranks post-Soviet Russian, the intelligence officer himself, and well-trained in espionage tactics. Activists report that by the Gulagu.net, Gulagu.net, the Navalny official time of death was listed just minutes before the government officials announced his passing, suggesting that a highly choreographed effort to end the guy's life. They also report that the government's agents disabled CCTV cameras with the Arctic prison where Navalny was in prison in the days before the death. Prison sources also say the secretive government vehicles arrived within the prison complex the night before Navalny's death. Navalny's reps are also pulling no punches and directly implicating Putin, saying that in a statement that Navalny was murdered. The whole world knows that the president of Russia personally gave the order, just as he knows that Navalny was never afraid of him, never stayed silent, and never stopped acting. Yep. So there you go. What do you think? I mean, it's an interesting one. And listen, truth, not truth, different, whatever, conspiracy theorists will always have some kind of theory behind it, regardless on how you look at it, good, bad, or ugly. Will you ever find out the truth of what is going on? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We get into some weird stuff here. I mean, let's not lie. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, everything we talk about is just the greatest stuff that we talk about and consistently go over. There is no doubt there, because that is not what we do. We sometimes have to take some deep dives into some weird shit.
Duh.
That's very true, as we are talking. Anyways, a Virginia seamstress wants to help out brides to be getting hitched on a budget, offering 44 dresses totally free on their big day. Deborah Thunberg says that friends who are closing down her own bridal shop gave her 44 dresses totally free, and Thunberg wants to pay it forward, with generosity. She notes that all the dresses are unworn and brand new and come with a variety of options. She also will do alterations to get the fit just right. Right now, she's sifting through some emails and connecting potential customers with their free dream dress. So there you go. Free dream dress. I mean, what does a standard wedding dress go for nowadays? No, seriously. I got married, and at the time, I guess because the mom was the seamstress, $9 was what the dress cost. I mean, I don't know. I guess you just didn't consider the work at the time, but whatever. So let's talk about this. Animal caretakers at the Nebraska area zoo say that they had to perform emergency surgery to get $7 worth of coins out of an alligator's stomach. Officials believe that the zoogoers have been flipping coins towards the gator, which snatched them out of the air into its mouth. On its own, the alligator likely wouldn't have been able to pick up the coin and flip it from the ground. They also says that other 10 alligators on display of the X-Raid will be required to have a similar procedure. This is according to KE-TV. That's KE-TV. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some of the weekend box office stuff because yesterday was President's Day. So, of course, we did not get the official numeros until right now. So let's talk about this. The weekend box office goes something like this. At number 10 was Land of Bad, $1.8 million. At number 9, Lisa Frankenstein with $2.09 million. That's down from the number 2 spot to number 9. That's a jump. At number 8, Anyone But You, $2.4 million. That's the Sydney Sweeney movie. Hey, whatever you want to watch there. The Beekeeper with $3.2 million is now at number 7. At number 6 is Wonka with $3.5 million. At number 5, The Chosen, Season 4, Episode 4 and through 6, $3.6 million. At number 4, Migration, $3.8 million. Argyle is at $4.8 million, down from the number 1 spot to the number 3. And number 2 was Madam Web, $15.3 million. And at the number 1 spot at $28.6 million, Bob Marley, One Love. I have to tell you, if you were hanging out here yesterday, almost spot on what Trey Thomas said that the projections that he had in regards of who was doing what, at least in placement. He didn't have number values. He just had potential placements of here, there, and everywhere. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. So what do you think? Good stuff. So if you care about the box office stuff, let's do this real quick because I think it's important. Why don't we go into some money matters and discuss money that will matter to you?
The opening bell rings this morning on Wall Street, kicking off a holiday-shortened trading week. Stocks closed lower Friday to wrap things up after a larger-than-expected jump in wholesale prices. The January Producer Price Index rose 0.3%, adding to fears the Federal Reserve will delay rate cuts. At Friday's closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 145 points to 38,627. The S&P 500 shed 24 points to 50,05, and the Nasdaq fell 130 points to 15,775. Tech companies agree to fight artificial intelligence-generated election misinformation. Phil Hewlett reports.
A group of 20 of the leading companies, including Microsoft, Meta, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, Amazon, and Adobe, have signed a pact to police the rising problem on their platforms. AI-generated content has quickly led to serious concerns about election-related misinformation, also known as deep fakes. I'm Phil Hewlett.
Capital One Financial is set to acquire Discover Financial Services in a massive deal. The acquisition is set for over $35 billion, all stock. Discover shareholders will get a little over 1 Capital One share for each Discover share, with the deal expected to close in late 2024. Capital One reportedly plans to keep the Discover brand. Lyft CEO David Risher says the rideshare company's bottom line was boosted thanks to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. Traffic to and from stadiums and hotels was significantly up when the pop star was in town, anywhere from 25 to 60%. Risher also told Yahoo Finance that Swifties tend to tip 3 times higher than average. Consumer and business news, Trey Thomas, NBC News Radio.
Okay, so that sounds like a good night for most if the Swifties are in town, if they're tipping 3.5 times more than, the av. Good for them. Good for them. By the way, talking about Lyft for the moment, where the hell was I? Washington, D.C. Little scooter things you can rent on the side of the road. And I'm talking about like the little pedal scooter, not pedal scooters, but I guess the ones that you kind of kick plate off. I did not realize they had Lyft branded ones that were readily available for you if you were so intrigued on doing that. So there you go. They have them in the Washington, D.C. area. Little did I know. Anyway, so let's get into the rest of what I was able to find. The Dow lost about 145 points to close at 38,627 on Monday. The S&P lost about 24 points to close at 5,505. And the NASDAQ lost about 130 points to close at 15,775. West Texas Intermediate closed at $79 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $83 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.27 on Monday. Bitcoin continued to climb on Monday, trading just, are you ready for this? Just over $52,000. Also, there was 3,165 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Monday, and more than about 100 or so such cancellations. And no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $493 million jackpot or a $231 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, I think now is the time to do so. So there you go. I mean, if you want to play that stuff, that's good for you. I mean, it's entirely up to you. I mean, not up to me. I don't know. Do you get excited about the whole lottery thing? Some people really do. Like, I know some people that do it every week, however many times a week it's supposed to be done, that people play. I mean, good for you. So there you go. Anyways, Colorado Springs is trying to recover from the UCCS shooting one step at a time. One student said that they're welcoming sight of hundreds of people to show up for yesterday's healing walk across the campus.
There's definitely a general sense of shock and sadness in the air. However, at the same time, there have been a lot of people coming together, remembering life and just learning to enjoy what they have.
The healing walk was in honor of the two people who lost their lives on Fridays and the show of support of all those affected. Many carried roses, signs saying Mount Lion strong. Some also wore black and gold ribbons showing the school colors. The walk ended up in a makeshift memorial, which will be moved from El Palmar Plaza inside of the Student Center later this week. Willow Kitchens, who said that they knew Sam Knopp, and had recently gone shopping for a new suit with him, says that their healing walk was a good start in honoring on who he was.
I think this was beautiful. It was a beautiful day out. I think that everything we did, laying flowers on the line, is just gorgeous. Everybody just bringing it together is just gorgeous.
So a lot of stuff still going on as we are talking, no doubt about that. Southern California is in more possible flooding going their way. NBC meteorologist Angie Lasman has the latest.
Rainfall totals about 1 inch to 3 inches are still going to be possible. And remember, they sure have had a busy season out there. So these saturated grounds going to be problematic for the flooding concerns.
The large section of Los Angeles County are under flood watch through tomorrow. The storm is expected to target the LA Basin today, prompting warnings and potential mudslides. So be on the lookout if you're in that general area. Let's go a little bit back real quick to Colorado Springs. The suspect of the latest school shooting is headed to court in just a few hours. Colorado Springs Police Chief Adrian Vasquez says the department is working to bring the community swift justice.
The best case, the tightest case that we possibly can. Murder cases like this, it really is very critical that we dot every I and cross every T and make sure that that investigation is as tight as possible.
Police arrested Nicholas Jordan yesterday, 3 miles away from the University of Colorado Springs. The 25-year-old student there was accused of opening fire inside of a dorm on Friday, killing 2 people. One victim, Samuel Knapp from Parker, also a student. The other one was Cecile Montgomery of Pueblo. Police say that they knew each other and confirmed that this was not a random attack. Jordan's court appearance is set for 1:30 p.m. local time, with more information to expect to come out later today. So be on the lookout there. I mean, what an interesting time. Of course, innocent until proven guilty is always the way that it's done here in the U.S. At least that's the way that it's supposed to be done. Doesn't necessarily mean that the court of public opinion always agreed with that, but that's kind of the way that it's supposed to go. So let's talk about this. The former Big Boy restaurant property at 407 Pearl Street in Grand Rapids, Michigan, has been donated to the Grand Rapids Downtown Development Authority. There are plans that work for the works to use the property and other nearby buildings in a professional soccer stadium. Take a listen.
Whether it gets used for a stadium or not at this point, we don't know for sure, but this is another way we can just continue to use downtown space to try to envision the community's priorities.
Downtown Grand Rapids Incorporated spokesperson Bill Kirk says that there are several steps that need to be taken before the soccer stadium could be built. The organizations control the DDA. Downtown Grand Rapids Incorporated spokesperson also said that the DDA has accepted donations for former Big Boy property with hopes that it can be part of the land turned into the soccer stadium.
There's still a lot of due diligence to happen for the soccer stadium to come to fruition. So we just accepted the land as a donation.
So there you go. A lot of soccer stadium talk apparently in that region. So there you go. Are you looking forward to the soccer stadium if you're there? I don't know because I'm not there. I'm in Orlando, so kind of hard to say. 30 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk about the road to the White House.
Road to the White House 2024. Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley will give a speech Tuesday on the state of the presidential race. She's set to deliver the remarks in Greenville, South Carolina at noon Eastern. The speech comes just days before the former South Carolina governor is set to go head-to-head with former President Trump in her home state's GOP primary. Haley spoke at a Fox News town hall Sunday night and said she's making it a priority to reach out to Gen Z voters.
Recently, a poll came out, this should shock everybody, that 58% of Gen Zers are not planning on voting in this election. And the only reason people don't vote is when they think no one's listening. And that's a problem.
In Washington, I'm Brian Shook.
So the only time people don't vote is when people think that no one's listening. I mean, I think I have a lot of portions that I could add to this. You know, maybe the limitation on the candidates that were available might be one of the things that might be turning people off. Now, listen, I come from a military family. So to me, it is always a priority and a value to be able to vote. In regards, it's not one of those things of, am I going to wake up and vote? I look at it from the standpoint that people have went out there, fought for this freedom, for this right to be able to do so, and have laid their life on the line to do so. So it is my public duty to be able to do this. But what are the options that are out there? I mean, let's be realistic. It's not like the best options are available in the scrutiny that some of these people that are politicians have to go through to just be able to, you know, to get onto the ballot, and the whole rigmarole. It's just kind of weird. It's weird in regards to doing some of that stuff. So maybe that's what turns some people off in regards to that. So there you go. So let's talk about this one real quick. Nearly 1 month after a deadly downpour that forced hundreds from their homes and apartments in San Diego County, the White House says that help is on the way.
President Joe Biden is ordering assistance for county areas hit hard by that January 22nd torrential rainstorm. The White House says the assistance will benefit local, state, and tribal recovery efforts. Federal officials say the money may be used for temporary housing and home repairs, low-cost loans for uninsured property losses, or other programs to help people or business owners. That money can also be used to reduce potential problems. You can apply by going to the FEMA app. I'm Phil Farrar.
Okay, Phil Farrar, thank you very much for that one. So there you go, as we are talking. Anyways, it is currently 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so maybe it is time to do that thing that we should be doing, right around here, because why wouldn't we be doing it? Isn't it important to do that thing that we're supposed to be doing?
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about it. I mean, let's not forget, I'm still super excited to be back, to be able to hang out with you, even on a lovely Tuesday. We're getting close to that midweek point. It's always important to do that. But there's been some very weird oddities coming about over the last little bit. And it's good to be back in the chair. It's good to be back here hanging out with you and doing all the fun stuff. But I still continue to look at the world of the weird. And when I say the world of the weird, I want to be very, very careful here, because I don't want to offend. Maybe that's the wording that I'm looking for. But I'm always kind of, we'll say, surprised about what we are out there doing when it comes to certain things. I take a look around and I'm amazed on what people are searching for. And don't get me wrong, I understand that people want to make sure that their people are safe. I get that portion. And there are different methodologies that people use. There's let's listen to the worker, let's kind of plan everything out. Let's find the software that will predict the future. Let's go ahead and do all of these weird things. Let's go ahead and audit people to death. Let's go ahead and do operational learning to death in regards of doing that. I mean, there's some people out there that are like, I need to do 1,000 operational learnings, not for the purpose of getting information. It's for the purpose of unloading all of this stuff in regards of getting everything set up. So let's kind of backtrack real quick and just put a brief hold for a moment. As we go through this whole portion and talk about this is going to be the one that's not going to make everybody love everything so much. But why don't you start off by doing what works inside of your organization? Now, I want you to hear that again. Why don't you start off by what works in your organization? Because there's so many different styles and portions out there of what people do and say and blend and move and groove and all this stuff. Why don't we look at it from the standpoint that, hey, when it's all said and done, you start off with what works within your organization. If you want to get to something else down the road, and let's talk about human and organizational performance, you have to take tiny steps to get there. It's not like, hey, I'm going to jump out of an airplane and go for it and then go, damn it, I forgot to put on the parachute. So go with what works and let's start getting you to where you need to go. Because most people want to do all this stuff where everything's going to change overnight. Your organization's not going to buy into that right away. Yes, there are things that you want to do and accomplish for the organization to understand and move forward, but things do not change as quickly as we would like. I mean, I would love to sit here and tell you otherwise, but I'd be full of shit in regard to doing that. So take a look at it and go, start off with what works and move forward. Now, if you're sitting there for a moment and go, well, we've done this, and it does not work, look at it from this particular portion. It's not a great foundation to be in, but it's a starting point. And those starting points are crucial to be able to move forward. Because if you walk into the organization and you say, hey, I'm trying to change everything. Day one, I'm trying to change everything that I have going on. It's going to be a little bit difficult to do. And I say that from the standpoint of the following. If you change everything, the investment that has been done by the organization previously, and I'm talking about when we're talking about from the C-suite level, the investment is going to be looked at as, what the hell were we doing the whole time before? And they're going to think that it's flavor of the week. If you want big cultural changes to occur inside of the organization, it is a so methodical process on how it's done. I know it's not the big fluff piece that people want, but it's that stuff to talk about that you have to give some serious consideration to, opposed to it just being like, hey, things are going to get better because we want this now. I know, don't love me, don't hate me, but think about it for a moment. There is a portion of reality that we're talking about on how things will move and groove, depending on how you want to take a look at this, opposed to it just being some big fluff of, hey, let's sit around and sing Kumbaya and see how well the life is going to go from that point on.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with BIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take BIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. Radio. I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there.
Like I give a flying, you know.
Okay, here we are, 44 minutes past the top of the hour. Yeah, this right here, Shadows by Young Charlie. You're still listening to the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, Safety FM, Radio Big, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. Yeah, moving through the shadows. Here we go. This song's available for streaming. Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music. As we get to do our thing. You know, it's always a cool time as we get to hang out. This right here, you know, some music I'll stick to. I like it. Young Charlie. So there you go. Thank you to Young Charlie for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Always a good time in regards to doing la música as we go. So there you go. Let's get into it. Let's talk real quick about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at Right Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. No, seriously, you really do. No doubt about that. Right Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. And click on the section that says Find Help. Listen, once you get there, all kinds of information available, anything related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, and, well, just to name a few. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. There's stories. There's events that they have going on, and so on. As I take a look right now, let's see, February the 24th, Out of the Darkness Community Walks takes place on February the 24th. So we're talking right around the corner here. And it's taking place in Baldwin Park. So let's see. We are proud once again to be joining our friends at AFSP for their Out of the Darkness Walk in Orlando on February the 24th. Our team will be on site. Baldwin Park, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. The opening ceremony starts at 2 p.m. So just some information. Just to be able to talk about some info going on right there. Then some stuff going on in Los Angeles, also in Brooklyn, in Dublin, Ireland. I'm telling you, worldwide, baby, in regard to what's going on. So there you go. You can take a view, take a listen, just take a look around, because you never know what might end up happening when it's all said and done. Right Love on Our Arms, TWLOHA.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. It could be a life-changing event for you if you allow it to do so. Let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world here. Let's talk about it. It's not exactly a job opportunity, but it's definitely an opportunity to do something unique. NASA has put out the call for volunteers to participate in the second year-long simulated Mars mission. The space agency is looking for 4 people for its crew health performance exploration that is available starting next spring. The selected crew members will be housed in a 1,700 square foot 3D printed habitat. The Mars Dune Alpha habitat at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston is designed to simulate the life might be like in the future explorers of the Red Planet. During their stay, volunteers will perform habitat maintenance, grow crops, among other tasks. Habitat also has a 1,200 square foot sandbox attached to the simulated spacewalk. It's a paid gig, but no word on how much. NASA is now accepting applications for the event on their website now through April the 2nd. So basically, COVID lockdown all over again. Light maintenance and growing and then having trouble walking around. That's not unique. That's called bachelorhood. So just some information purposes. Some things right there going on. So what do you think there? Would it be something that you would have any kind of interest in whatsoever, or would you look at it and go, no way, Jose? I don't know. I think that under the right circumstances, that could be cool. I mean, if my wife wanted me to go away in isolation for a period of time and not have anything to do with her for a year, maybe that's a way to go. I don't know, maybe talk to her. Who knows what the heck that she would say? Who knows, really?
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's continue talking because, that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. So there you go. So let's do this real quick. President Biden says that he's considering more sanctions against Moscow after the death of opposition leader. Take a listen to this.
We already have sanctions moving and we're considering additional sanctions.
The high-profile vocal critic of Vladimir Putin died in prison last week. Biden told reporters that he would be willing to enact additional sanctions on top of those already levied after Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. President Biden also asked for yesterday if the blood of Navalny was on the hands of the House Republicans and responded, while he hasn't gone as far as saying that they are making big mistakes in not responding properly to the death of the Russian opposition leader.
The way they're walking away from the threat of Russia, the way they're walking away from NATO, the way they're walking away from meeting our obligations is just shocking. I've been for a while. I've never seen anything like this.
I don't know. Could the plane in the background be any possibly louder? That's one thing. Also, take a listen to sinkholes are not unique to San Diego, but Bree Tennis has details on what's being done with a plethora of potholes.
When the surface of a road collapses, it's called a sinkhole, and San Diego has a lot of them. The Stormwater Department now investigating more than 25 sinkholes. No word on the cause, but the recent storms are a good guess. A spokesman for the city says 5 of the locations have been referred for emergency repairs. The remaining 20 will be monitored and assessed until crews can fresh fill the holes and resurface the roads. I'm Bree Tennis.
Let's not assess too much. Maybe let's get moving and grooving here in regards of what we can do to fix them. Anyways, a rare mass of reparation in St. Patrick Cathedral in Manhattan this weekend after the New York claimed that the funeral at the cathedral this week for a transgender activist author included scandalous behavior. Take a listen to what Andrew Whitman has to say.
Some of the mourners who gathered to remember Cecilia Gentili in a live-streamed funeral mass at St. Patrick's Thursday wore mini skirts, halter tops, and fishnet stockings, prompting complaints and triggering the unusual Saturday mass reserved for churches that have been desecrated. The priests who conducted the service Thursday did not know Gentili was trans, and the organizer admits she didn't tell them. More than 1,000 people attended her memorial, which was heavily promoted and featured Broadway star Billy Porter. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
So a death is a death is a death, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, why can't it be done? So your lifestyle determines your death style? I'm just trying to figure it out. Anyways, an 83-year-old woman hit by a car as she crossed a Brooklyn street in December is dead. Andrew Whitman has more.
Manaxi Christian was crossing 13th Avenue just a few steps down the street from her home on 76th Street in Dyker Heights on the morning of December 15th, but she never made it to the other side. A man driving a Honda Accord hit her as he backed out of a parking spot. She was hospitalized and never left. She passed away Saturday. The driver stayed at the scene and has not been charged with a crime. It's not clear if Miss Christian's death will change that. Andrew Whitman, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Andrew, for that one. Do we have time for a couple more? Let's do this. A municipal law aims to sidewalks in the city parks clean. Under a new law, for those camping on public property will be fined up to thousands of dollars in Colorado Springs. Take a listen.
I've seen them have to turn people down already on the cold nights because they were at max capacity. So I think it's foolish.
With this new law, Robert Elliott said that he's worried that Pueblo Rescue Mission will end up being too full. Pueblo Police also said they're still trying to come up with a plan of its own to enforce the new rule. Officials say that the department has team officers that can go to the homeless camps every day and offer resources. City leaders in Pueblo Rescue Mission are meeting tonight to see what exactly can be done. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we do this? Let's go into some John Smalls and see if we can get some motivation.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. Today's quote was submitted by William. Thomas Shelby said, "I don't chase dreams, I hunt goals." I like that. My friend William, the guy who shared this quote, has been an absolute inspiration to me. William has taken a few wrong turns in his life, but now he's on a path that he's determined to do better. He's moving forward with his plan. Like the quote says, he's not just chasing a dream. William is hunting his goals. Are you? First things first, do you even know your goals? Set your goals, then set your mind to achieve your goals. It's most likely not going to just happen on its own. You need to put in the effort. You need to grind to get the traction needed to get where you want to be. But in the end, it's so worth it. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Taking antidepressants like Prozac while pregnant can hinder a child's brain development and possibly cause mental disorders later in life. Those are the findings of a new study published last week in the journal Nature Communications. Experts say antidepressants that raise serotonin levels can influence how the brain learns and how it adjusts. After 3 decades, the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in Maine has been removed from an environmental protection agency list. The shipyard was designated as a Superfund site back in 1994. That was due to health and safety concerns. A total of 7 areas near the shipyard were identified as possibly being contaminated with toxins. The Navy has agreed to do reviews every 5 years and to submit reports to the EPA. Health updates. Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, here we are, 55 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's talk real quick some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1985, Ireland legalizes the sale of contraceptives for the first time. Despite the Catholic Church influence and power in the country, pharmacies began carrying non-medical contraceptives on their shelf for purchase without a prescription. That happened back in 1985. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Olivia Rodrigo turns 21. Lydia Crawford turns, 23. Rihanna turns 36. Tracy Skipodakis, I guess, 36. Miles Teller, 37. Trevor Noah turns 40. Jay Hernandez, 46. Cindy Crawford turns 58. Hold on, do they share a birthday? That's pretty cool. Charles Barkley turns 61. And Abraham Quintanillo Jr. turns 85. So there you go. Just in case he's the father of Selena, in case you didn't know who he was. So there you go. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, it's National Muffin Day, National Love Your Pet Day, National Handcuff Day, International Lego Criticism Day, National Cherry Pie Day, Hoodie Hoo Day, No Politics Day, National Comfy Day, and International Pipe Smoking Day. Well, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Just saying. So there you go. Anyways, if you're looking at a random joke for today, I am pretty sure that I can come up with something for you because that is what I'm supposed to be doing. To be or not to be, that's not really a question. So there you go. That's why. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the weirdest conversation you've ever eavesdropped on? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. A poll found that 2 foods that can even the pickiest eater will eat. What are they? French fries and mac and cheese. I will say they're only 50% correct because I will not touch mac and cheese. So there you go. So that's it. That's gonna sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely Tuesday. At the top of the hour, let me kind of explain what I will be doing. If you stay on Radio Big, I will be doing a couple hours of music and entertainment if you stay over there. If you stay on the Safety FM side of the house, here's what it's going to look like for you. Sheldon Primus will come in. He will talk about the world of safety consulting. If you're interested in becoming a consultant, he will tell you everything there is to know about that in regards of being able to move forward with it. No doubt about that. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. No doubt about that. Anyways, be on the lookout today around noontime as we drop the episode on Safety FM with Jay Allen of Todd Conklin and doing his presentation at the Global Safety, Innovation Summit coming out of Australia. So there you go. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. What we are matters more than what others think of us. Keep that in mind. Anyways, I know who you are. Duh. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.